It was an adventure, always, but the miles and the fatigue were worth it. When you got out of those cars and stretched, spruced up if you had the time, sauntered into those halls, set up your instruments, fixed the wooden folding chairs in place, took out the music, tuned up, relaxed, and later unleashed the nappy-necked lightning of jazz, then you came alive in a very special way. Then glamour, grace, and audacity could ramble from your instruments. Then your mind could shine like Klondike gold. Kansas City, for these men and many others, was home base. For years, it had been a wide-open city, thanks to the power of local gangsters and the corruption of boss Tom Pendergast's regime. And in that time, the city had become a hotbed of thrilling bandstand creativity. By 1941, however, Pendergast had been fitted for a prison suit, and the vibrant glare of KC nightlife was in decline. Now the music was starting to drift away from the city, flowing west, north, and east with the musicians. These players had known no depression in Kansas City, no lack of work. Throughout the late 1920s and the 1930s, they had been free to play, compete, and party around the clock. In that boom town for jazz, motherloads of style and gushers of swing were mined and brought in, if not nightly, then with enough consistency to make way for a newly textured pressure on the rhythm, a southwestern swing that celebrated the soul, as well as the coos, the calls, the cries, and the lamentations of the flesh in pulsive time. These particular musicians, those who were sitting outside that rooming house in Des Moines, were raring to go east, to New York and the big time. But for now, they were pulling tenor saxophonist Bob Dorsey by the tail. They were reminding him, in excruciating detail, how they'd torn the pants off that Nat Towles band he was a member of, tore them off in Omaha and Lincoln. You do remember Omaha and Lincoln, don't you? Seem like I hear silence over there. Cat got your tongue? Shall we remind you? Not left with a patch to cover their collective cracks. Yes. Dorsey remembered the regret and humiliation those Kansas City players had heaped upon them. That rhythm section, Meathead J. Hootie McShann's piano, Funky Bud Lucky Noise's guitar, Thumper Eugene Ramey's bass, and Never Miss a Beat Gus Johnson's drums was enough to draw blood by itself. Then there were those improvised on the spot, short, repeated phrases known as riffs, jabbing like a boxer's left hand, and the sweltering combinations dealt by that alto saxophone, which had floored them for the count. That alto saxophone had been played by 21-year-old Charlie Parker, sitting out there with the rest of them, lean as a telephone wire, at 127 pounds, his open face twinkling in the morning light as he laughed deeply at their ribbing. Near Parker was his running buddy, Ramey, whom he called by his middle name, Glasgow, and who was easily black enough to knock daylight out of the sky with his fist. The gutter was just beyond their feet, looking like a trench or a grave. It was a mellow morning, strangely warm. Needed nothing more than a coat or a thick sweater. Forget about a blanket or a quilt. The time moved so slowly, it seemed to have no seconds, minutes, or hours stuck to it. Someone ran to the door of the rooming house and pushed it open, making the sound of a radio audible from within the building. He was hollering about Pearl Harbor. Never heard of her. Gene Ramey remembered someone joking. The man at the door said he was serious. Something terrible was on the way. No one was sure, but the way things had been happening over the past few years, with all the goose-stepping and master racing, they weren't holding out much hope for world peace. I know some harbors down in Austin, Ramey countered. Maybe she's related to them. The messenger with the bad news didn't find that funny. Neither did most of the people they encountered after Roosevelt asked Congress to declare war the next day. In the days that followed, the musicians all heard variations on the same refrain. You niggas better get ready to trade them horns for rifles. The rest of the country may have been gearing up for war, but these musicians, known as the J. McShann Orchestra, had been at war most of their professional lives. They were jazzmen, and that meant fighting with many a rival band for the affection of the dancers and fighting with other individual